Hi, this is Dr. Kim Lawyer, retired investigative journalist and international journalist. I want to talk to you about the people of River State, especially young people. Today, I witnessed something that literally put me to tears. It was so sad to know that young people in River State don't know anything about oil exploration. They literally thought it's something I could teach them on Facebook, have a seminar or something. Can you teach me? It is so bad that the mentalities have gotten to this way in Nigeria. If I were from a state that there's so much oil like that, trust me, I will be filthy rich by now. They don't understand what they have under the ground in their area. This is what caused the early fights in the 90s and 80s and even the 70s and 60s. The Biafran War was over the oil. At the end of the day, young people in River State, they're not completely who we think they are. I've written the article about many of them that were born as baby factory babies. So they came up growing up in prisons, going to motherless babies' home, and somebody would adopt them. Just no heritage, no family bloodline, nothing. Now, let's face it, there's some people who are very intelligent. Maybe if I have one kid that was impregnated by a trafficker, okay, got arrested, lived in the prison till 2 years, or went to motherless babies home, grew up, adopted, lived with an adoptee family. They died. He went on, became an L explorer, became a billionaire. They meet this guy at the end of the table where he becomes a billionaire, but they don't know his life history. Every single youth in Port Harcourt and environs is supposed to know about the oil and how to be an oil worker. Instead, they let foreigners come into their hometowns to destroy their hometowns because there are no laws in Nigeria that's actually guiding them. The people that wanted the laws put in, like Uncle Ken, Sarah Wiwa, they killed him. Who else is there? Environmentalists have spoken. Okay, Ankyo Briggs has spoken a lot. Even Alabo Graham Douglas told me a lot of stories about this stuff. At the end of the day, what are you doing? Every single governor that River State has had, except King Alfred, I don't know who else. The worst ones, Rotimi Amechi has no clue of anything. Rotimi will literally come to Ibadan with his convoy, and he'll be the one driving the convoy. Yeah, the governor, instead of him to sit in the back, bulletproof and everything, he's the one driving the convoy. And he'll just run into our house, wants to see my dad. What I noticed about some of this governor, Peter Odili, was just horrible. Mr. Odili just did not care about the youth at all. Every time there's an election, you run to the polls and you vote them in. I've not even been able to gauge Sim Fubara, but he's too meek. Fubara is too meek. When I say meek, he's not assertive of the state. If you're the governor, you're the father of the state. Can you see, look at what my son wrote on Facebook this afternoon. Can you see Donald Trump suspend our governor in Maryland and our elected officials in the Maryland State Senate and Maryland Assembly? No, it can't happen. What is Article 305? Article 305 is supposed to go through the Senate and the National Assembly, but the National Assembly is supporting this foolishness. Everybody's shouting, Wike, Wike, Wike. What did Wike do for you? What did Wike do for you? Tell me exactly what did Wike do for you. If you want me to go back into that whole Joy Nunia thing for the NDDC, the NDDC should be dissolved. They shouldn't have even started that because they do nothing for the youth over there. Some of the youth in Niger Delta were stuck in London, UK, Europe, different foreign countries with all money that was supposed to be used for their school fees. They didn't pay them. You better know what's happening. Some of you have villages on Facebook. You're not on Instagram, Twitter, and all that because you don't even know how to use those. You don't know your rights. You're in your villages. All your food, your crops is messed up. Contaminated with crude oil. Somebody needs to tell you about what happened in the 90s over there. People died for the democracy you claim that you're enjoying. You have no democracy now. Better open your eyes, people. This map that I drew today from my hand literally shows you what's going on in River State right now. Everybody listen to this. The northern elites, they've enslaved you. While I was in Port Harcourt, the 30 days I spent in Port Harcourt after I left that prison, You're sitting there talking about my prison. I went to beg Ibiomi. When did you see me begging Ibiomi? I went to his pulpit. I asked him, I wanted to do a testimony. I talked about how someone sent an 8-page letter to me, okay, saying this. They turned into 8-page confession. You're not focused at all. Your lives are getting ruined in River. You're the worst. You know what I mean? Focus on what's at hand. One, you have no democracy. Your governor ain't coming back to 2027. And when he runs, they're going to try and run him out of office. Fubara is supposed to go to international bodies now. We have United Nations. Natasha went there for the IP something, for the women's stuff. There's a lot of things. The political ones are there in the UN. What is Fubara doing? Sitting down in Bielsa governor's house. Do you know if Diri is communicating with them in Aso Rock? You guys are not, you're not intelligent. The things happening in River State, we know. Okay, my father's a high-ranking politician who has worked in Abacha government, Babangida government, Obasanjo, all the governments, 51 appointments in 64 years. My dad would be like 90 years old in 2 weeks. For all the stories my father told me about River State and things that happened in the 90s, we had this conversation for a series of 30 years. The northern elites, the Hausas, they don't buy petrol. You're down here in the south, in Lagos, in Benin, Edo, in Anambra, all these southern states, you're shouting about the price of petrol. Oh, it's 800 per litre, 850. I left Nigeria New Year's Day of 2023 at 200 per litre and I complained. But at the entrance of the airport, I said to myself, don't worry, it'll be 1,000 by the time I come back. And I was right. At the end of the day, you listen carefully to me. Many things you don't know, I tell you. I'm the only person that tells you everything. I warned you about Lekki Tollgate, it happened. Everything I've warned you about happened. You always vindicate me. I don't have time for nonsense anymore. The northern elites, okay? I come from a political elite family. The northern elites don't buy petrol. If you see somebody having a funeral for their mother, one governor in the south is having a funeral for his mother. So the northern governors, all of them pile up in their private jets and their jeeps. All those black jeeps you see, do you think that they're actually buying the petrol that goes in there? No, it's free. Because the person making it is you, the youth in Rivers. You're in the forest. I entered those forests. I saw a lot that I shouldn't have seen. The person with me had an AK-47, and he was an undercover prison guard and an undercover police officer. Both of them took me everywhere because I was not done after I left that prison. You don't lock up a journalist. You turn the whole place into a newsroom. After my 30 days in Rivers, I went back to Ibadan. But what I saw in those forests, young boys your age, they're not on Facebook, they're making oil. They're making petrol for the northern elites. Their body's black, they're dirty. We got some footage. Go to Al Jazeera and see their own. Go and see the oil thing on Al Jazeera, Nigeria's oil. These boys were dirty, black, refining crude oil in the forest. The entire skies of Port Harcourt black. Every time you go to Port Harcourt, it looks like it's cloudy, it's going to rain. It's not rain. It's black suit. Our hotel, the table in my hotel, black suit, powdery, black stuff. The kitchen in my hotel, like an Airbnb, black, every counter. When we leave in the morning, they'll clean the room. When we arrive, they'll come back and clean the room again just to wipe those counters and surfaces. The water is oily in Port Harcourt. Have you had a shower in Port Harcourt? It's oily. Oil, crude oil. So when you shower in Port Harcourt, you don't need moisturizer because the water is already oily, so your body has a film of oil. Look at the map of Nigeria that you see here. Just look. What do you see? You see Port Harcourt and a route to the north. The northern elites, they are importing, domestically importing, how much? 4 million naira worth of petrol every 30 minutes with tankers taking them to the north. Wake up, Port Harcourt youth. Wake up. They don't pay for petrol over there. If any of your leaders come and say I'm lying, I will start mentioning names. Look at the kind of nonsense. You want to report my page. Disregard her post. Blah, 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 blah. What did Facebook do? 89,000 reports. Nothing was done. Fake news, fake news.